Tonight, you find yourself standing on the muddy banks of the Mississippi River in the year 1804. The town of St. Louis rests quietly behind you, still small by modern standards, little more than a frontier settlement at the edge of a vast and mysterious continent. Beyond this place lies a wilderness few Americans have ever seen. Endless rivers, rolling prairies, towering mountains and forests stretching farther than anyone can imagine wait beyond the horizon. But tonight, there is no danger to consider and no urgency to feel. This is a story of gentle travel, quiet discovery, and peaceful moments beneath open skies. Take a slow breath, allow your shoulders to relax, and imagine yourself stepping aboard a wooden boat that will carry you westward into one of the greatest journeys in American history. The morning air feels cool and fresh. A thin layer of mist drifts across the water, softening the outlines of boats resting near the shore. The Mississippi moves slowly beneath the rising sun, its surface reflecting pale shades of gold and silver. Nearby, members of the expedition move calmly about their preparations. Wooden crates are carefully loaded, barrels are secured, ropes are checked. Every movement is deliberate and unhurried. The expedition has spent months preparing for this moment. Now, at last, the journey is about to begin. You step aboard the keelboat, a long wooden vessel built specifically for travel along western rivers. Its sturdy frame creaks softly beneath your feet. The smell of fresh timber mixes with the scent of river water and morning air. Everything feels peaceful. The river flows quietly beside the boat. Birds call from distant trees. The town behind you slowly begins to wake. Smoke rises from a few chimneys. A dog barks somewhere in the distance. The sounds are familiar and comforting, yet beyond the next bend in the river lies an unknown world. As the sun rises higher, the final preparations are completed. The crew gathers aboard. Ropes are untied. Long poles are prepared. Paddles rest against the sides of the boat. A gentle breeze moves across the water. Then, slowly, almost silently, the expedition begins to move. The shoreline drifts away. The town of St. Louis grows smaller. The river widens before you. Ahead lies the Missouri River, the great waterway that will guide much of the journey westward. The boat glides forward, steadily. Water laps softly against the hull. The rhythmic sounds of paddles soon settle into a calm and reassuring pattern. Splash, pull, glide, splash, pull, glide. The motion feels soothing, almost hypnotic. Hours pass peacefully as the expedition follows the river upstream. The landscape changes little at first. Gentle hills rise beyond the water. Tall grasses sway in the breeze. Cottonwood trees line the banks. Their leaves shimmer beneath the sunlight. Occasionally you spot wildlife along the shoreline. A deer pauses near the water's edge. A turtle rests upon a fallen log. Great blue herons stand motionless in the shallows. The natural world seems entirely undisturbed. Everything moves according to its own quiet rhythm. The river itself becomes a companion. Its steady flow remains constant throughout the day. Sometimes the water appears smooth as glass. Other times small ripples catch the sunlight and sparkle like scattered jewels. No two moments look exactly the same, yet all of them feel peaceful. By midday, the sun shines brightly overhead. The boat pulls alongside a grassy bank. It is time for a short rest. The crew steps ashore. A simple meal is prepared. Fresh water is gathered. You sit beneath a tree and look out across the river. The view stretches for miles. Blue sky above, green forests below. the winding river connecting everything together. A gentle breeze carries the scent of grass and earth. Birdsong drifts through the trees. You find yourself listening carefully. Out here, every sound feels clearer. The modern world is still far in the future. There are no engines, no traffic, no machines, only water, wind, wildlife, and sky. The simplicity feels refreshing. Soon the journey resumes. The boat returns to the river. The paddles begin their steady work once more. Afternoon sunlight dances across the water. Clouds drift lazily overhead. The hours pass almost unnoticed. Traveling by river creates a unique sense of calm. The scenery changes gradually. The movement remains smooth. There is little need to hurry. The river sets the pace, and the river is patient. As evening approaches, the expedition searches for a suitable campsite. Eventually, a quiet stretch of shoreline appears ahead. Tall trees provide shelter. Fresh water is nearby. The location seems perfect. The boat is secured. Supplies are unloaded. A small camp takes shape beneath the trees. Soon a fire crackles softly in the growing darkness. Its warm glow flickers against the trunks of nearby trees. Dinner is simple but satisfying. The day's travel has created a pleasant sense of tiredness, not exhaustion, just the comfortable feeling that comes from spending an entire day outdoors. The sky slowly darkens. One by one, stars begin to appear. Far from cities and settlements, the night sky seems larger than ever before. Thousands of stars spread across the heavens. The Milky Way forms a luminous path overhead. The river reflects fragments of starlight. Everything feels calm, still, timeless. You sit quietly beside the fire and watch the flames dance. The sounds of the camp gradually fade. Conversations grow softer. The river continues flowing nearby. A night bird calls from somewhere in the forest. Leaves rustle gently overhead. The world seems perfectly balanced. Eventually you settle into your blanket and look upward. The stars continue their slow journey across the sky. The river whispers in the darkness, and before long, sleep arrives naturally. Morning comes gently. The first light of dawn filters through the trees. Mist rises from the water. The camp begins to stir. Another day of travel awaits. Breakfast is prepared. The fire is rekindled. Equipment is checked. The familiar routines quickly establish themselves. Life on the expedition is surprisingly simple. Wake with the sun. Travel by river. Rest when needed. Camp beneath the stars. Sleep. Repeat. The rhythm becomes comforting almost immediately. The boat pushes away from shore once again. The river welcomes you back. Today, the scenery begins to change slightly. The forests grow thicker. The banks become steeper in places. Wildflowers appear in bright clusters along the water's edge. The landscape feels untouched, pure, ancient. The farther you travel, the more distant the familiar world becomes. Yet rather than feeling isolated, you feel connected. Connected to the river, connected to the sky, connected to the landscape surrounding you. Hours pass quietly. The crew works steadily. The boat moves onward. The river bends and twists through the countryside. Each turn reveals a new view, a wooded hillside, a broad meadow, a distant cliff, a quiet inlet. Every scene feels like a painting. Every scene invites observation. Late in the afternoon, clouds gather overhead. Not storm clouds, just soft grey clouds drifting across the sky. The sunlight becomes gentler. The air cools slightly. A few drops of rain begin to fall. The shower remains light, barely more than a mist. The raindrops tap softly against the wooden boat. The sound creates a peaceful rhythm. For a while, the river seems even quieter than before. The rain eventually passes, sunlight returns, tiny droplets cling to leaves and branches. The world sparkles, fresh and renewed. As evening approaches once more, the expedition makes camp along another peaceful section of a riverbank. The routine is already becoming familiar. The boat is secured, the fire is lit, dinner is prepared. Night slowly settles across the wilderness. You sit near the water and watch the sunset. The sky transforms into shades of gold, orange, and rose. Reflections shimmer across the river. The trees become dark silhouettes against the fading light. It is a beautiful ending to a peaceful day. As darkness deepens, the stars return. The campfire crackles softly. The river continues its endless journey. And you realize that this expedition is not simply about reaching a destination. It is about the experience of travel itself. The quiet mornings, the gentle movement of the boat, the endless skies, the calm evenings beside the water. Each day offers something worth remembering, something worth appreciating, something worth carrying with you long after the journey ends. For now, however, there is nowhere else to be. No need to rush ahead. The river will continue tomorrow. The wilderness will still be waiting. And beneath a sky filled with countless stars, you allow yourself to relax completely. The Missouri River flows softly beside the camp. The fire burns low. The night air feels cool and comfortable. And as the sounds of water and wind blend together beneath the stars, you drift peacefully towards sleep, carried gently into the unknown wilderness of the American frontier. Several days have now passed since leaving St. Louis behind. The river has become your road, your companion, and your guide. Each morning begins the same way: cool air, gentle mist rising from the water, and the soft sounds of the camp slowly waking beneath the first light of dawn. You step aboard the keelboat once again as the sun rises over the Missouri River. The water glows with shades of gold and silver, reflecting the peaceful sky above. The boat pushes away from shore and begins another quiet day upstream. The rhythm of river travel soon settles around you. Splash, pull, glide, splash, pull, glide. The paddles move steadily through the water while the boat advances slowly against the current. There is no rush. The river decides the pace and everyone accepts it. As the hours pass, the wilderness grows larger. Forests line the banks for miles. Towering cottonwoods sway in the breeze. Birds fly overhead, their calls echoing across the water. Occasionally a deer appears at the river's edge before quietly disappearing back into the trees. The world feels untouched, pure, peaceful. At midday, the expedition stops along a grassy shoreline. A small fire is built and a simple meal is prepared. While others rest, you sit beside the river and watch the water flow past. Clouds drift lazily overhead. Dragonflies hover above the reeds. The gentle sound of moving water fills the air. Everything feels calm. Everything feels distant from the worries of ordinary life. Soon, the journey continues. The afternoon passes beneath warm sunlight. The boat rounds endless bends in the river. Each turn reveals a new landscape. Rolling hills, open meadows, and quiet forests stretching toward the horizon. As evening approaches, the golden light softens across the water. The expedition finds another peaceful campsite along the riverbank. The boat is secured, campfires are lit. Dinner is shared beneath the open sky. One by one, the stars begin to appear. The river reflects their light like tiny diamonds scattered across the darkness. Nearby, The fire crackles softly. A gentle breeze moves through the trees. The sounds of the wilderness become nature's lullaby. You settle beside the campfire and gaze upward. Tomorrow the river will continue, the journey will continue. But tonight, there is only peace, the flowing water, and a sky filled with endless stars. Weeks pass peacefully as the expedition continues westward. The forests gradually begin to thin, giving way to vast open grasslands. The Great Plains stretch endlessly beneath a sky that seems larger than ever before. Each day follows a comforting rhythm. The boat moves steadily along the Missouri River, while endless prairies roll across the horizon. Herds of buffalo can sometimes be seen grazing in the distance like dark shadows against the golden grass. The air feels fresh and open. The sky feels endless. At night, camp is made beside the river. Fires glow softly beneath the stars, while the prairie wind moves gently through the grass. The world feels quiet and calm. As you look across the moonlit plains, you realize that few people have ever witnessed such immense open spaces. And beneath the stars, sleep comes easily. Far ahead, the first outlines of the Rocky Mountains finally appear on the horizon. Day by day, they grow larger. Blue shapes become distant peaks become towering mountains. The landscape begins to change once again. Rivers become narrower, forests grow thicker. Cool mountain air replaces the warm prairie breeze. Travel slows as the expedition carefully moves through valleys and wooded trails. Yet the beauty of the mountains makes every mile worthwhile. Snow can be seen high upon the peaks. Pine forests cover the slopes. Crystal clear streams flow through quiet meadows. Each evening, campfires glow beneath towering trees, while stars shine above the mountain wilderness. The journey feels peaceful. The mountains stand silent around you, and the wilderness seems more beautiful than ever. After many months of travel, the expedition finally reaches the western edge of the continent. The sound arrives first. Waves, gentle waves rolling onto the shore. Ahead lies the Pacific Ocean, vast, endless, peaceful. You stand quietly and watch the water stretching toward the horizon. The long journey across rivers, prairies, forests, and mountains has finally come to an end. The expedition establishes a winter camp near the coast. Days become slower. The air smells of salt and pine trees. Rain falls softly against wooden shelters. Evenings are spent beside warm fires while ocean waves roll endlessly in the distance. As the final night arrives, you step outside and look toward the sea. The stars shine overhead. The waves continue their gentle rhythm. The wilderness around you is silent. The journey is complete. And surrounded by the peaceful sounds of wind, water, and the distant ocean, you close your eyes and drift softly into sleep. The end.